never felt so alive in my life. 'Cause you make me come to life every time I'm free. Oh, and I'm loving all that you do. Can't you see that I'm crashing right into you?
Hi guys, so today we are going to be making a very simple blouse. It's simple in the sense that a beginner can do it, an advanced, intermediate, whatever your level in sewing is, you can try this. It is super simple, but it's a stylish blouse at the same time. So with me here, I have 2 yards of fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice, okay? So I'm going to start by folding it. So I'll fold it lengthwise first. So now it's been folded into 2 lengthwise. This is the selvage. Then I will fold it again into 2 breadthwise. All right, so now that I have my fabric folded, we are going to start measuring. But let me just run you through the folding. I folded my fabric into 4. Right here at the top is a fold. You can see where we have those 2 folds, and here we have 1 fold, just so you guys understand the placement of the fabric at this point. And you have those 4 pieces thing, you know, and down here is where we have the selvage. So I'm going to start off by taking my neck measurement. I'm going to be using a neck width of 3.5. I hope you guys can see. I have to make my camera angle wide enough to cover up the whole table, so you see what I'm doing. So now I'm taking 3.5 as my neck width, and then for the neck depth I'm going to be using 3 inches. If you're a plus size, you can use 4 by 3.5. Then I'm going to connect that into a simple round neck shape. So that's the shape we are currently working with. We are going to be modifying that further, so you keep on watching so you know what we turn it into. The next thing I'm going to be taking is my shoulder to waist measurement. That's from the shoulder to the tiniest part of my waist. So I'll come up here and I'm going to be taking my shoulder to the tiniest part of my waist. Shoulder to waist is 16. I'll mark that. And just to get a straight line, I'm going to also take it here, somewhere in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to be taking my shoulder to the length of the blouse length. Okay, so from here, from the shoulder again, I'll take 21 inches as my blouse length, and I'm going to be adding ½ inch to that for joining. I'm going to be having a belt, so this is not going to be my final hemline for now. So I'm just taking 21.5 right now. That's not going to be 21 is not going to be my final blouse length, because I'm going to be joining some more efficacy to that, you know. So yeah, I'm taking 21 as the length for now and adding ½ inch. So that I'm going to connect these lines into horizontal lines. All right, so now we are going to be taking the sleeve length. Okay, so you are going to be taking half of your shoulder measurement, normally like we do when you want to make a basic bodice pattern, you know. So half of my shoulder measurement is 14. Oh, sorry, my shoulder measurement is 14. Half of that is 7, right? So I will mark 7 just for reference. That's not what I'm going towards. So from that 7, now I'm going to determine the length of my sleeve. So I've taken my from here to my shoulder first, then I'm going to take my shoulder measurement from here to where I want my sleeve to be. For me, I want that to be 18. That's from here to my sleeve length. I want it to be 18. So this is this point now is this point here. Okay, so I'm going this deep because I know that this video is also for beginners, so I hope you guys are following along. So I will measure that 18 and mark it, still for reference, because that's not the final point. Then I'm going to be adding 5 inches to this. From this point now, I will be taking 5 inches, and the point of this 5 inches is because this kind of sleeve is that one that goes back in. So we want that 5 inch to go back in and still have our length as 18. Okay, so I'll be taking 5 inches. So I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch for my elastic channel. So that's the final point that we need. So I hope that is clear, guys. If you don't understand, you can play back the video, you can pause it, you can speed it up. Those features are available for you on YouTube. So this is all the points we have going on right now. And now I'm going to be extending this line of my waistline. I will extend it longer because I need it to be longer. So now that I have extended that line, this is what I have. So we need to connect this point to complete our arm opening, right? In order to do that, ideally we should transfer this point down here. So in order to do that, I'm going to measure what I have from here down here. That's 31, and I'm going to place it down on this line, okay? But that is not exactly what we need, because we don't want to have an entirely straight line, because that is not going to be a nicely fitting sleeve opening. So I am going to be coming in by 1 here. So instead of 31, I'm going to be marking 30. Then I'm going to now connect this point to this point. So now it's time to measure our horizontal measurement and place it on this line. I'm going to be placing 1/4 of my waist circumference on my waistline. This is my waistline, right? So my waist is 27. 27 divided by 4 gives me 6.75, okay? 6.75. And because it's a loose fitting blouse, I'm going to be adding 1 inch. Then I'm also going to be adding another 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So in total, I'm going to be taking 8.75. So on this line, you can use your hip circumference on this line, or you can put the circumference of that spot where the blouse is going to end. So in my case, the circumference of that place divided by 4 gives me 9, okay? And remember, the 1 inch we added because it's a loose fitting blouse, that's 10, and extra 1 inch for my sewing allowance, that is 11. So 11 is what I'm going to be marking. So that is the point, and then I'm going to be connecting those points together. And next thing I'm going to be doing, I will come onto this point right here, and I'm going to be coming down by 2 inches. And somewhere in the middle here, I will also come down by 2 inches. So then I'll come to this line, and I'm going to be coming down by 3.5 inches. So as you can see, here comes down a bit more than here, and that's just going to enable me to make a really nice gentle curve right there. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'll connect this point together from here straight, and when it comes to this point, it's going to curve a little bit downward. Okay, then I'm going to extend this line, of course, to meet this one. Then I will come to my shoulder slope, come to my shoulder line here, and I'm going to be taking 1.5 inch as my shoulder slope in this case. Okay, then I'll connect that all the way through to meet my neckline. At this point, I am going to now show you the modification I'm going to be making to my neckline. Okay, so because the neckline is going to be a 1 shoulder, you remember initially I took 3.5 inches as my neck width. So from this point now, I'm going to be adding extra 5 inches. So then I'm going to connect from this point now, this is that 5 inches point, I'll connect to my neckline just like that. But mind you, when we want to cut, we are not going to be cutting all 4 pieces together on through this line. We are going to be cutting only this one through this line, and then let me just cut so you guys know what I'm talking about. At this point, I just have the feeling that my blouse is going to be a bit too short, so I'm adding 1.5 inch extra to the length. So just to be safe, and then I'm just going to extend this to meet up with my new length. All right, so in order to cut out this part that I was talking to you about, so I am going to first cut out this neckline. So once that is out, then I will open up the blouse. Let me finish cutting off my neckline, my shoulder slope, just so we don't have any confusion going on. So then I will open it up, and then I will now cut out this one, just like that. So that forms the 1 shoulder effect. So I'm setting this aside, and for my belt, I have this straight rectangular piece, as you can see, and the length of it is 72 and the width is 5 inches. And by the way guys, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. So before I run you through how to join this, I'm going to quickly talk about Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video.
Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform where millions of creative minds like you and me come together to learn new things on different topics to become more creative. There are thousands of lessons on Skillshare, topics that covers illustration, fashion design, photography, or whether you want to learn video editing, video making, art, graphic design, or maybe you want to learn about YouTube, how to start your own YouTube channel and be successful. There are lessons on how to grow on Instagram, how to grow on social media. There are lessons on marketing, craft, productivity. Did I just say marketing? I'm sure that is communicating to someone already. This was actually what captivated me on Skillshare. I was taking a particular lesson by Gary. And guys, that lesson literally took me back to my drawing table because I was able to get valuable tips that can help me to grow my online business despite the competition that is going on today. You can apply the knowledge in your fashion business as well. What makes this difference is the fact that it's focused solely on learning. That means there are not going to be ads bothering you. Despite the numerous things you can learn on Skillshare, it is affordable.
And guess what guys, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description box is going to get 1 month free trial to Skillshare. If I were you, I won't let this opportunity pass me by. So head on to the description box and grab yourself the free trial opportunity. Alright, so of course we have a facing. We are going to be cutting out a facing and it's just going to cover up this shape. So here it is. That's the facing and it is 2 pieces. Okay, I will set that aside and I am going to begin my joining by joining this shoulder slope all the way through from the neckline through to the arm opening on this side, and I will do the same on the other side as well. So I have stitched that down along the shoulders as you can see, and the next thing I'm going to do, I'll put my facings together, right sides facing each other, and I'm also going to stitch them down along the shoulder as well. So that has been done. Now I'll bring back my blouse and then I'm going to open it up like this, making sure the right side is up. Then I'm going to open up my facing as well, okay, and I'm going to place them on top of each other, right sides facing each other, and I'll match it up and pin it down. So as you can see, I'm done pinning it down along the neckline. So I'll take it to my machine and I'm going to stitch them together all around. So now that I am done with that, I will turn it to the right side. Okay, and I will give it a good press. And after pressing it, I will flip this back so they are right sides facing each other again. And then I will stitch here, which is from the sleeve down to the length of the dress. I will repeat the same thing to the second side as well. So we're going to be creating the elastic channel now on the sleeve opening. So what you want to do basically is to fold it twice towards the wrong side like this, and you pin it down. Okay, so do that all around, and once you're done, then you are going to be stitching it down really close to the edge all the way around, but you are going to be leaving about 1 inch opening where you are going to be passing in the elastic channel. So for my strap, I am going to fold it this way, and I'm simply going to give it this nice shape at the end here. The same thing goes on this side, which I've done. All right, so in order to join my band, I folded my band into 2 like this, and I'm going to place, I just want to measure from here to here. So I'll place it here and I'll place it this way. Then I'll place a mark. Okay, and of course there should be a mark here. You can go ahead and notch this part, but so yeah, I have those 2 marks. Then I'll put this away. So from this mark now, I will fold it into 2, right sides facing each other. Then I will stitch from that mark. This is my mark right here. I will stitch all the way through this way and this way, and on the other side I will locate the second mark, which is this one, and I will repeat the same thing. Fold it into 2. I'll stitch from that mark all the way through to the entire end as well. So I have done that. So then I will turn it to the right side now. So I have ironed my belt. This is what my belt looks like right now. You can see. Okay, and this part that is open, you see, I went ahead and ironed in the seam allowance, half inch in, half inch in, so it looks like this. So I'm going to start sewing it on now, and this is how I'm going to do that. I am going to open up this seam line, and then I will start pinning. So now that I'm done putting it in, I am going to go ahead. You can just top stitch if you want, okay, or you can do a stitch in the ditch, okay, and that's what I am going to be doing. And once that is done, then I will be done with the band. And the last thing I'm going to be doing is to insert my elastic band into my elastic casing, which I have already done here. Oh yeah, so I forgot to show you guys that I did open up my side seam here a little bit so I can create a slit. That enabled me to be able to finish up my belt. So this is the elastic band we are going to be using, and it's the exact circumference of my arm. And I cut out 2 pieces for the 2 slits. So now it's done. So then I'll take this to my machine and top stitch to close it up. I'll repeat the same to the second as well. So the sleeve is done, and as you can see, I top stitched my seam allowance onto the facing just to keep it in place. So what I'm going to do, which is the last thing now, is to tack down this facing so it stops flapping up like this. Okay, so I'm simply going to hold it this way, and I'm going to place just about a quarter of an inch length of a stitch right here. Just tack it down. You can use hand stitch as well, and that's it basically.
I'm free. Oh, and I'm loving all that you do. Can't you see that I'm gushing right into you? That I'm gushing right into you. I'm free. Oh, and I'm loving all that you do. Can't you see?
Empty hearts and